So, today I will be advocating for being against animal testing. I feel as though it is wrong to use animals for testing anything on, as far as cosmetics and even drugs. Before I express my arguments, I would like to begin talking about how animal testing began. It all started when the Greeks used animals to examine sensory nerves, motor skills, and tendons. Aristotle, who was the first to test on animals, used dogs to experiment anatomy on. He wouldn't use drugs to put them to sleep, but he would cut them open while they are awake. I think this was a cruel and inconsiderate way to torture an animal. Also, Robert Boyle experimented on animals, but he used a lot of different variety of animals. As mentioned in a previous speech I have given, he did a test called flying without air. In this experiment, he used a bird and took the bird and put it into a box without air. He wanted to see how the bird would react to this, and by the end, the bird ended up dying. With knowing these types of experiments that were going on, they don't seem to be having had a meaning to them at all. So why even do them? Now, with having some background on how animals were used for testing, I have some arguments that support why I'm against testing. 3 of my arguments that I will be talking about today include using animals for testing will not have the same reaction as humans would have. They do have moral rights, and using non-animal alternative is more efficient and cheaper. With using non-animal alternatives as more of an efficient and cheaper way should be the main reason why testing shouldn't even exist, especially using cosmetics on animals. Animals should not be testing and suffering to bring eyeshadows and lipsticks to stores just so companies can make money. Killing animals for us humans to be more attractive is such a silly reason for having animals go through suffering and dying from these tests. Stated by Sullivan, 61% of people said that testing these products on animals should be illegal, and 78% agreed that developing alternative to testing animals is important. Now, continuing on with my other argument about how animals have moral rights. They are just like humans because they are mammals and they should be able to be left alone to live their own lives. They have the right of liberty and shouldn't be captured and experimented on. Even though they don't have voices, obviously because they can't talk, they still show signs of feelings. People can sometimes kill animals that burglarize or trespass, make too much noise, or become a nuisance without moral or legal condemnation. The same holds true for animals that taste good, have attractive skin, or pelts, or are a useful laboratory subject, and this was stated by the animal rights debate. Lastly, using animals for testing will not have the same reaction as a human being would have. It is not certain that an animal is going to react the same way, even if it's on a different species. Just because an animal can sense something is wrong does not mean they are just like humans. Again, from the animal rights debate, they say, testing on animals is that they do not feel pain, think, or reason like humans do. So, with them stating that, there is no real indication as to whether or not animals feel pain. To conclude my speech, I have given a clear and more reasonable understanding as of why testing of products on animals should be abolished. I think a way to put an end on animal testing is to make people more aware of how products are being made. I think people just trust popular brands because everyone uses them. If we were to make our voices heard about abolishing animal testing, we could potentially make a big difference. There is actually already a new method of testing out for products and drugs, which is technology. These modern methods include sophisticated tests using human cells and tissues, also known as a vitro method, advanced computer modeling techniques, often referred to as a silico model, and studies with human volunteers, and that is stated by PETA. Actually, at Harvard Wise Institute, they developed a new organ on chips with human cells that have the same organ system as us humans. It is for disease research, any other drug testing, and it even has drug responses. This method has more accurate results as well. With having this be a thing, there is a very good way to remove animal testing altogether. If the technology gets better within the years, I believe that there will not be one bit of use on animals for testing. I hope this makes you have a more clearer mind about animal testing and why we as people should have a voice and to stop animal testing once and for all. Thank you very much.